This is for my mother. Right now.
Alright, what is going on guys, it's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got for you guys is another Arrow video with some Thawne and Evil Nora Flash stuff in the second half. Starting off, our most recent episode of Arrow, promptly titled Spartan, not only gave us an awesome Diggle-focused episode filled to the brim with Green Lantern references, with everything from his stepfather's name being Stuart to I think even a reference to willpower at one point, oh yeah, and an abundance of green just for good measure, so fingers crossed that the John Diggle from Earth 90 actually ended up taking his stepfather's last name to go along with his ring, so maybe we could get a full-on John Stewart Green Lantern Diggle during Crisis. It's been a fan theory for a while, but now it is a real possibility, which is definitely super exciting. But in addition to all of this awesome Diggle stuff, we also got a lot more of the Emiko Ninth Circle storyline, as well as some more future stuff with ties to Archer within the present day. Getting the future stuff out of the way real quick, I think one of the most important takeaways is that John Jr. is the leader of the Deathstroke gang. Okay, kind of random, but pretty cool as well. I'd love to see a Connor versus JJ fight at some point, but I guess that also does open up a weird continuity thing if you think about it, because in that Legends future, Connor Hawk was JJ, but now they are two separate people, and Connor isn't even Diggle's biological son, so yeah, pretty confusing, but let's just not even think about it. Anyway, another big future thing, it also seems like they're going all in on the Mia and Connor relationship, and I'm down for it, as it is kind of cool that both the kids of Oliver and Diggle are kind of getting together there in the future, but the biggest thing is of course that all signs do point to Felicity's friend and business partner Elena making a copy of the Archer source code and using it to create the interface of these Stormtrooper-esque soldiers that the Eden Corps is using. So it is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, as well as to see the inevitable confrontation with the future Felicity and Elena. But now let's travel back to present day and talk about that Emiko and Ninth Circle stuff with a bit of Oliver sprinkled in there as well. We had Emiko come in a bit later on in the episode after Dante had gotten the codes out of General Stewart for the bioweapon, and outside the facility, that is where we had our big confrontation between brother and sister for the episode. Might I add, a very good fight scene, really good fights all throughout the episode too. But during this fight though, Oliver dropped the bombshell on Emiko that Dante was the one who killed her mother, which led directly on to the ending of this episode, which I thought was very well done. Emiko believed what Oliver said and confronted Dante about it, filling him with arrows and giving him what he deserved. Dante claimed to have done everything to make Emiko more devoted to the Ninth Circle, but in the end it ironically turned into what is drawing her away from it. Also, this brings me to the big question of who is the main villain for the season now. First we thought it would be Dante, but I guess he's dead now. Emiko is of course the leader of the Ninth Circle, but I don't see them making her the ultimate villain of the season. While we did have the return of Evilmiko for a bit this episode, I'm almost 100% sure she will not end off as the big bad of the season, because come on, if you guys do know the comics, you know side swappage is her thing, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't make Emiko a full-on villain. I could be wrong, but if Black Siren can be redeemed, I think Emiko more than deserves the second chance. Or third chance, fourth chance, whatever chance she's on right now. She's been manipulated by Dante ever since she was a kid to lead the Ninth Circle and had a pretty bad relationship with her father. Then her mother was killed, so Emiko definitely has a reason to be the way she is, and I think she'll come out on the other end a hero and stronger because of it. Hopefully Emiko will end up joining Team Arrow by the end of the season, turning on the Ninth Circle, as well as to stick around for the next season and maybe take on whatever threat might be above her within the Ninth Circle, because I'm sure there's a higher up that could be set up, maybe not as this season's big bad, but possibly next season's villain. So in the end, maybe this season could leave off without really having a classic big bad, but just smaller threats throughout the season that lead to the next season with a bigger threat to set up for the future. That's pretty much what Stephen Amell has teased in the past for this season, that there wouldn't really be a season-long overarching big bad, so this definitely lines up and makes a lot more sense now. So while Emiko may seem like the big bad as of now, since she still is the leader of the Ninth Circle, I think in the end she will flip back over to the side side of Team Arrow and ultimately become a hero as well. Also, I've always thought that she would show up in the future, so maybe after she's done being Evilmiko and is fully redeemed, she could pop up there and help out with the future stuff too. And also, you guys do have to remember, if Shishimuka isn't in the next season of Arrow, what would be Paige's reason for watching the show then? Okay, that's a bad joke, but I don't care, I'm leaving it in. Paige, please don't kill me. Anyway, really enjoyed this episode of Arrow. Again, loved all of the Diggle stuff and excited to see where else Emiko's story goes by the end of the season. Next episode though, it looks like Emiko has framed Oliver for the murder of some security guards, and we also have Roy's return to present-day Star City as well, so that should be another great episode as always. Only 3 more episodes left for the season now. But with that said, let's run over to Central City. I'd like to make a full video on this, but this week is just going to be super busy for me, so I decided to make this a half Arrow, half Flash video just for convenience sake.
You created your own speed force?
Yes, I did.
And I can access it to go back in time.
That and more.
Can you teach me how to use it?
Well, I have to warn you, Nora, it's a little bit negative.
In the most recent episode of The Flash, aside from the nice Caitlyn family story, which I actually really enjoyed, especially that ice slide fight, we had Thawne introduce Nora to the negative speed force, which is absolutely awesome. So glad that they finally confirmed that it exists, and Nora is going to be evil for a bit, so let's just call her Negative Nora for now. She was just pulsing with negative speed force lightning and had her glowy red eyes here at the end of the episode to go along with her now burned up suit just to look super evil. Totally went all in on drinking the haterade, just like Thawne, to tap into the negative speed force, and that all ties into the title for episode 21, which is of course the girl with the red lightning. Pretty funny how much these storylines for Arrow and Flash mirror each other this year, with both Emiko and Nora sort of on the edge of the dark side, but ultimately I'm sure they will be saved by their family in the end. I definitely don't think that Nora is going to be fully evil for the rest of the season. I'm sure she'll be fine by the end of the next episode, or episode 21 at the latest, but until then she's joining up with the Rogues next week, which looks like it is going to be a pretty interesting episode for sure. Anyway, very cool stuff happening on The Flash for sure. Can't wait to see evil Nora next week along with her now tricolored lightning. Also pretty excited to see where Thawne and Nora's story goes. As we get closer and closer to the end of the season here, it seems like Eobard almost thinks of Nora as a daughter, or at least a close student throughout the time that he has been training her, similar to how he felt about Barry towards the end of season 1 after he had been training him for so long, so it is definitely going to be pretty interesting to see how Nora and Thawne's story plays out. Will Nora end up being the one to let Thawne out before the finale? That would actually make a lot of sense. Maybe we will see that in episode 21, which is again titled The Girl with the Red Lightning. Seems like that would be fitting for our Negative Nora to do within that episode, letting good old Eobard out of Iron Heights just in time for the finale in episode 22, where we know he'll of course be out and about once again. But with that said, I want to know what you guys think about all of this down in the comments below. Do you think we'll see a Green Lantern Diggle in Crisis? What do you think Emiko is going to do moving forward? And what are your thoughts on all of the negative Speed Force stuff with Nora and Thawne? I want to know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.